Be me, 38, HR manager at manufacturing company in Michigan. Salary $120,000, benefits, corner office with a window. Master's degree in organizational psychology, thesis on toxic masculinity in blue-collar environments. Been at this company for 3 years, working my way up. Company makes industrial equipment, pumps and valves, been around since 1950s. About 400 employees total, 300 on factory floor, 100 in offices. Factory is 90% male, typical manufacturing demographics. Welders, machinists, assembly workers, forklift drivers. Office is more balanced, maybe 60% male, 40% female. When I started, culture was exactly what I expected. Old school, traditional, guys telling jokes, sports talk everywhere. The kind of place where men call each other buddy and chief. Where handshakes matter and you're expected to drink beer at company events. It's exhausting, it's dated, it's problematic on every level. Spend first year doing the basics, updating handbook, harassment training. The usual pushback, we've always done it this way. Nobody's ever complained before, and can't even joke anymore. Standard resistance from men who don't want to examine their behavior. Year 2 is when I start getting more ambitious. Company hired new CEO, woman named Patricia, 50s, from corporate world. She wants to modernize the culture and attract younger talent. Music to my ears, finally someone who gets it. Pitch her on comprehensive culture transformation initiative. Patricia, we have a deep-rooted problem with masculinity norms here. The factory floor especially, it's a breeding ground for toxic behavior. Show her anonymous survey results I collected. Questions designed to expose the problems I know are there. Do you feel pressure to act tough at work? 78% yes. Have you ever felt unable to express emotions? 65% yes. Do you engage in male bonding that excludes women? 82% yes. C. Patricia, the data shows toxic masculinity is embedded here. She's nodding concerned. What do you recommend? This is my moment. Been planning this for months. We need mandatory accountability and reflection sessions, specifically for male employees to examine their behavior, to understand how their actions perpetuate harmful norms. Patricia hesitates. That seems intense. Will they resist? Resistance is proof of the problem. Patricia, if they're defensive, it means they're feeling called out. That's when the real growth happens, in discomfort. She approves a pilot program, 6 months, monthly sessions. Mandatory for all male employees, supervisors, and factory workers. 2 hours per month during work time. I'll facilitate personally. Announcement goes out via email. New professional development program. Male accountability and growth sessions. Mandatory attendance. The Slack channels I can see go quiet, ominous silence. First session is scheduled for a Tuesday, 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. Book the largest conference room. Fits 60 people. Set up chairs in a circle. No tables. Need open, honest environment. Print out discussion materials. Articles about masculinity. Reflection prompts. Men start filing in at 1:55 p.m. They look confused and annoyed. Factory guys in work uniforms. Oil stains. Steel-toed boots. Office guys in business casual. Everyone looking uncomfortable. They sit down, arms crossed, not making eye contact with me. 60 men in a circle. The energy is hostile but suppressed. I stand in the center, holding my materials, feeling powerful. Thank you all for being here. I know this is new territory, but this is important work we're doing today. One guy raises his hand. Mike, machinist, been here 15 years. What exactly is this about? Email wasn't clear. This is about examining masculine norms that harm everyone. About understanding how traditional male behavior creates toxic environments. About holding each other accountable and growing. I see them exchanging glances, so my roles. Let's start with an opening exercise, going around the circle. I want each of you to share your name, role, and one way that you've contributed to toxic masculinity in the workplace. Dead silence. Nobody moves. It's okay, this is a safe space, no judgment. Who wants to start? Volunteer to model vulnerability. More silence. Someone coughs. Tension is thick. Fine, I'll pick someone. Target the one who looks most uncomfortable. Let's start with you. Pointing to younger guy, maybe 25, assembly line worker. Name's Josh, he says quietly. And Josh, how have you contributed to toxic masculinity here? He looks panicked. I don't know, I just build pumps. Think deeper, Josh. Have you ever made a sexist joke? Have you ever excluded a woman from conversations? Have you ever acted tough when you felt vulnerable? His face is red. I guess, maybe, I don't know. That's a start. Acknowledgement is the first step. Move to the next guy, older, supervisor level, looks pissed. Your turn. Name and contribution to toxic masculinity. Tom, production supervisor, and I don't think I have anything to contribute to this. Red flag, resistance already, expected but still frustrating. Tom, everyone contributes to systemic issues, even unconsciously. Can you think of a time you reinforced masculine stereotypes? Not really, no. I treat everyone fairly. That's defensive posturing, Tom. We need honesty here. He goes quiet, jaw clenched, clearly angry but holding it in. Continue around the circle. Most guys give minimal answers. I've probably made some jokes, or maybe I could be more sensitive. They're complying but not engaging, doing the minimum. After the introductions, move to the main content. Hand out printed article, The Violence of Male Stoicism. Everyone read this, then we'll discuss in pairs. Watch them read. Some are actually reading, others staring at the page. 10 minutes later, okay, turn to the person next to you. Discuss a time you've suppressed emotions due to masculine expectations. The pairs talk quietly, can't hear most conversations. Walk around the circle, eavesdropping on discussions. One pair is talking about a football game, not the assignment. Gentlemen, stay on topic, please. This is important work. They stop talking, go back to awkward silence. Another pair, one guy is actually opening up. Yeah, man, when my dad died, I didn't cry at work. Felt like I couldn't. Perfect, this is the breakthrough I need. Excuse me, would you mind sharing that with the group? He looks mortified. It was private conversation. This is a learning environment. Your vulnerability helps others. He shakes his head. I'd rather not. Okay, but I want you to think about why you're resisting. What masculine norm makes you afraid to be vulnerable publicly? He doesn't answer, looks at the floor. Session continues for 2 hours. Feel like pulling teeth entire time. End with closing reflection. One commitment you're making to do better. Around the circle, commitments are generic and unenthusiastic. I'll be more aware, or I'll think about this stuff. They file out quickly when time is up, barely making eye contact. Feel frustrated, they're resisting the growth, proving my point. Second session next month, same setup, same guys. This time I'm more prepared, come with specific scenarios. Today we're discussing microaggressions and male dominance in meetings. Project scenarios on the screen, role-play exercises. Scenario 1. A woman is presenting, a man interrupts with his idea. What's the problem here, and what should the man do differently? Hands stay down, nobody wants to engage. Call on someone randomly. Kevin, what do you think? I think, if his idea is important, he should share it. Wrong answer. Kevin, interrupting is a dominance behavior. It signals that his voice matters more than hers. The correct answer is to wait for her to finish and ask permission to add something. He nods slowly. Okay, yeah, I guess that makes sense. More scenarios, more forced participation, more resistance. One guy, Marcus, challenges me directly. Isn't this kind of assuming all men are doing this stuff? I work with 3 women on my line. We all respect each other. Not all men, Marcus, but systemic patterns exist. Your individual experience doesn't negate structural problems. He goes quiet, properly chastised in front of his peers. By session 3, attendance is becoming an issue. 7 guys don't show up, send last-minute sick emails. I follow up with their managers. This is mandatory. They need to attend. Reschedule makeup session for the 7. They show up looking resentful. Session 4. Introduce the accountability partner system. You're each getting an accountability partner from this group. Someone to check in with monthly about your growth. To call you out when you slip into toxic patterns. Assign partners randomly. Watch them exchange uncomfortable looks. You'll meet for 30 minutes monthly one-on-one. Discuss your progress, challenges, and commitments. One of the older guys, Bill, raises his hand. Can I ask what the point of all this is? The point is personal growth and cultural transformation. The point is dismantling harmful masculine norms. Bill continues, but like we're here to build pumps. We're not therapists or social workers. We're machinists. This just feels like a lot of time away from actual work. There it is, the resistance I've been waiting to address. Bill, if you think building pumps is more important than being a good person, then you're part of the problem we're trying to solve. He goes red, shuts up, doesn't challenge me again. Sessions continue monthly. I'm documenting everything. Taking notes on who's engaging, who's resistant, who's problematic. Creating a spreadsheet of accountability grades for each participant. Plan to use this data for performance reviews and promotion decisions. Men who embrace the work will advance. Men who resist will stagnate. Session 6. Introduce privilege walks. Make them physically experience inequality. Line them up against the wall. Read statements. Step forward if you've never been sexually harassed at work. All of them step forward. Obviously, they're men. Step forward if you've never been interrupted in a meeting because of your gender. Most step forward. Some hesitate, uncertain. Look around. Look at how far forward you've all moved. That's privilege. That's what we're here to examine. Some guys look genuinely uncomfortable. Good, they should be. Others look annoyed. They're the ones I note in my spreadsheet. Session 7. Bring in guest speaker, woman from local feminist organization. She talks for an hour about her experiences with workplace misogyny, about being belittled, excluded, harassed, underpaid. Some of the guys are listening, nodding sympathetically. Others are clearly checked out, staring at their phones under the table. She finishes, asks for questions, nobody raises a hand. Come on, she shared her vulnerable experiences, engage with that. Finally, one guy asks, what can we do to be better? Perfect question, exactly what I want to hear. She gives suggestions, listen more, amplify women's voices, call out other men. Session ends. Feel like maybe we're finally making progress. Month 8. Something shifts. I notice the energy is different. Men are arriving exactly on time, not early. They sit in the same seats in distinct clusters. They're polite but cold, answer questions in minimal words. The resistance has evolved from overt to passive. They're complying with the letter of the requirement, but nothing more. No genuine engagement, no vulnerability. Just robotic participation. Pull aside one of the younger guys after session, Josh from the first day. Josh, I've noticed you've gotten quieter in these sessions. Is something wrong? Do you feel unsafe sharing? He looks at me carefully, choosing his words. No, it's fine, just doing what's required. But I want genuine engagement, not just compliance. You're getting compliance, he says, walks away. Something's happening that I'm not seeing. Sense it but can't prove it. Session 9. Attendance is perfect, suspiciously perfect. Every single man is there on time, sitting quietly. Even the ones who usually push back are completely silent. I run the session, ask questions, facilitate discussions. Get short, correct answers, no pushback, no genuine emotion. It's eerie, like teaching a room full of robots. Is everything okay today? You all seem subdued. Tom, the production supervisor, speaks up. Everything's fine, just listening and learning like you asked. His tone is perfectly neutral, perfectly professional, perfectly wrong. Can't pinpoint what's off, but something definitely is. Session 10, final session of the pilot program. Plan to do a retrospective, have them share their growth. They file in, same robotic energy, same careful politeness. Start the session. Let's go around and share what you've learned. How have these sessions changed your understanding of masculinity? Around the circle, perfectly crafted answers, all sound rehearsed. I've learned to be more aware of my privilege. I've learned to listen more and talk less. I've learned that traditional masculinity can be harmful. It's exactly what I want to hear, so why does it feel hollow? In the session, they file out efficiently, no lingering conversations. Feel a sense of accomplishment, but also unease. Following week, get called to meeting with Patricia and legal counsel. Weird. Why is legal here? Probably just routine follow-up. Walk in a conference room. Patricia looks uncomfortable. Legal counsel, older man named Richard, looks stern. Please sit down, Patricia says, not making eye contact. Richard slides a document across the table. It's thick. We've received a formal complaint, actually 40 formal complaints, filed jointly by male employees who participated in your sessions. My stomach drops through the floor. What? That's impossible. The sessions were about helping them. Richard opens the document, starts reading. Hostile work environment, compelled speech, religious discrimination, violation of Title VII, emotional distress, retaliation concerns. He's listing legal claims I don't fully understand. This is coordinated. They hired an attorney together. They've documented every session, recorded some of them. Wait, recorded? That's illegal. They can't record without consent. Michigan is a one-party consent state, Richard says flatly. They only need their own consent to record conversations they're part of. He plays an audio clip from one of the sessions. It's my voice. If you think building pumps is more important than being a good person, then you're part of the problem we're trying to solve. Hear a playback. Sounds harsh, sounds like threat. That's out of context. I was making a point about priorities. Another clip. Tom, everyone contributes to systemic issues. That's defensive posturing. We need honesty here. Another clip. Me pushing the guy to share his grief about his father publicly. Your vulnerability helps others. Why are you resisting? Richard stops the playback. They have 20 hours of recordings. They've also provided written testimony from all 40 complainants. He shows me typed statements, pages and pages. I felt forced to confess to behaviors I never engaged in. I was told my work performance mattered less than my compliance with ideology. I was publicly humiliated for having normal emotions and boundaries. I felt like I was in a re-education camp, not a workplace. Patricia finally speaks, voice shaking. They also provided the spreadsheet you made, the one grading their accountability for performance reviews. How did they get that? Must have accessed my files somehow. That was internal documentation for tracking engagement. That was a list targeting employees for their beliefs and responses to compelled political speech in mandatory sessions. Richard continues, they're alleging these sessions constitute hostile work environment based on sex and religion. Several complainants stated the sessions conflicted with their religious beliefs about gender roles, family structure, and personal morality. I try to defend myself. These were professional development sessions about creating better workplace culture, reducing toxicity. Richard looks at me directly. You forced men to publicly confess to participating in toxic masculinity as a condition of employment. You graded them on their ideological compliance. You called them part of the problem when they questioned the premise. He slides over another document. Here's what their attorney is demanding: immediate cessation of all sessions, public apology, destruction of all recordings and documentation from the sessions, compensation for emotional distress, $5,000 per complainant, and termination of the HR manager who created the program. Patricia speaks, not looking at me. The company's taking the settlement. All of it. It's cheaper than fighting and losing in court. Feel like I'm in a nightmare. You're firing me? For trying to help. You created a discriminatory program, Richard says. You compelled speech. You retaliated against dissent. You documented people's ideological compliance for employment decisions. This is textbook hostile work environment and viewpoint discrimination. Patricia adds, voice sad, I approve the program, that's on me. But you implemented it in a way that violated employment law. The company can't keep you. It's part of the settlement. Security is called, I'm escorted out same day. Box of belongings from my office, 3 years of work. Photos, books, coffee mug that says, nevertheless, she persisted. Walk through factory floor one last time. Men stop working to watch. Their faces aren't triumphant or gloating, just tired and relieved. Tom, the production supervisor I chastised, gives me a nod. Not a friendly nod, just acknowledgement that it's over. Drive home in shock. Can't process what happened. Check phone. Already seeing emails from HR connections. Someone leaked it to industry groups. The story is spreading. HR manager fired after male employees filed joint complaint. 40 men claim accountability sessions were hostile work environment. Comments are vicious, even from people I thought were allies. This is why HR gets a bad reputation. You can't force people into struggle sessions at work. This person confused activism with management. Week later, official settlement is announced publicly. Company releases statement. We regret the implementation of a program that made employees feel targeted based on gender and beliefs. We have terminated the employee responsible and are reviewing all policies. My name is in the statement. I'm the employee responsible. Start applying for jobs, anything in HR, talent management, culture roles. Every application goes into a black hole, no responses. Former colleagues stop returning my calls and emails. One finally responds, honestly, nobody will touch you. You're the person who did struggle sessions with factory workers. You're a liability. You're radioactive in the field. Month 2, completely out of savings, mom offers her couch. Move back to childhood home at 38, boxes of my professional life in storage. Keep applying for lower-level roles. HR coordinator, HR assistant. Finally get an interview at a small company, 50 employees. HR generalist role, $45,000. Less than half my previous salary. Interview goes okay until the background check question. I see you left your previous role in August. Why? I've rehearsed this. There was a disagreement about program implementation. I ran professional development sessions that some employees found objectionable. Interviewer looks at his notes. I read about that, the mandatory sessions. For men specifically, about toxic masculinity, correct? My face burns. Yes, the goal was to improve workplace culture. But the implementation was misunderstood. The implementation resulted in 40 complaints and your termination. He's not hostile, just factual, which makes it worse. How do I know you won't implement something similar here? Don't get the job, don't get any job in HR. Month 4, desperate, apply at retail, coffee shops, administrative roles. Get hired at a gym, front desk, $16 an hour, checking people in. It's humiliating. Master's degree on my wall at mom's house, while I scan membership cards and sell protein shakes. First day, manager showing me the computer system. She's 25, perky. So what did you do before this? I was in HR, needed a change. Oh cool, my boyfriend's in HR, where did you work? Panic, can't tell her, just a manufacturing company in the area. Nice, well this is pretty easy, just scan cards and smile. Weeks pass, routine is mind-numbing. Scan cards, answer phones, clean equipment, go home to mom's couch. Watch people come in for workouts, busy professionals, people with careers. Used to be one of them. Used to have purpose and authority. Now I'm the person they don't make eye contact with at the desk. 3 months in a gym job. One of the members comes in. It's Marcus, the guy who challenged me in session 3. He recognizes me. I can see it in his face. He walks up to the desk, scans his card. Hey, he says simply. Hey, I reply, not knowing what else to say. He goes to walk past, then stops, turns back. Look, I don't want this to be weird, but I want you to know it wasn't personal. I nod, don't trust myself to speak. We just wanted to do our jobs without being told we were bad people, without having to confess to stuff we didn't do, without feeling like we were being graded on our beliefs. He's not angry, just explaining, like I'm a person who might understand. We talked to each other after the sessions, realized we all felt the same, felt attacked for being men, felt like we couldn't say that. So we pooled money, hired a lawyer, documented everything. I finally speak, I was trying to make the workplace better. For who? He asks gently. Not for us. We told you it wasn't working. But you kept pushing, kept grading us, kept making us prove we agreed. He's right, painfully right, but admitting it feels impossible. You know what the crazy thing is, he continues. Most of us support equality, support women in the workplace. We just didn't want to be in struggle sessions about our gender. Didn't want to be treated like we were guilty of something. He picks up his water bottle. Anyway, I hope you're doing okay. He walks toward the weight room. I'm left at the desk. Rest of the shift is a blur, his words echoing. For who? Not for us. We told you it wasn't working. Clock out, drive to mom's house, her couch, my phone. Look up the old company's website. See they're hiring for HR positions. New HR director, man in his 50s, military background. His bio talks about practical leadership development and respect-based culture. No mention of accountability sessions or privilege walks. Company doing well, recent news about expansion, new contracts. They moved on without me, moved on from my programs. And apparently doing better, the factory guys probably relieved. 6 months at the gym, existence is mechanical. Scan cards, smile at members, clean the equipment, repeat. Some of the regulars recognize me now, make small talk. None of them know my history, what I used to do, how I fell. Applied to maybe 100 jobs by now, all rejections or silence. Name is too known in HR circles, story too widespread. One recruiter tells me straight, give it 5 to 10 years. Let this blow over, maybe rebrand yourself somehow. 10 years feels like forever from here. Standing at the gym desk, watching people work out. Think about those sessions, those 40 men sitting in circles. Thought I was enlightening them, helping them grow. Really just forcing them to pretend to believe what I believed. Punishing them for not performing the right answers. They didn't become less sexist for my sessions. Just became better at hiding their real thoughts from people like me. The ones who did open up, like the guy whose dad died. I exploited that vulnerability, tried to make it a teaching moment. Invaded his grief to score points for my program. Marcus was right. It wasn't personal for them. They just wanted to work, wanted to be judged on their work, not on whether they could correctly perform ideological compliance. And when I wouldn't listen, when I kept pushing, they did what they had to do, banded together, got a lawyer. 40 men, all ages, all backgrounds, all united in one thing. Not wanting to be in my sessions anymore. That should have told me something. When 40 people all independently decide you're the problem. Maybe, just maybe you're the problem. But I was so certain, so convinced I was right, that their resistance just proved my point. Never occurred to me that their resistance was legitimate, that they had valid reasons to object. That compelled speech at work is wrong regardless of the message. Now I'm here, 38, living with mom, making $16 an hour. Former HR manager turned gym receptionist. Cautionary tale in professional circles. The woman who thought she could fix masculinity with mandatory sessions. Who learned that you can't force people to believe what you believe. Even if you're certain you're right. Even if you have good intentions. Even if you think you're helping them become better people. They still have the right to say no. They still have the right to not be graded on ideological compliance. They still have the right to just do their fucking jobs. And when you violate those rights, even with the best intentions, they have the right to band together and stop you, which is exactly what happened. 40 men, one lawyer, 20 hours of recordings, and the end of my career in HR, all because I couldn't tell the difference between professional development and political indoctrination, between helping people grow and forcing them to confess, between creating better culture and creating hostile environment. Learned that lesson at 38 at the cost of everything. My career, my savings, my reputation, my sense of purpose. Now I scan gym memberships and think about what I lost and why I lost it and whether I deserve to lose it. The answer is yes, probably yes, definitely yes. Those 40 men were right and I was wrong. And that's the hardest truth of all. Harder than living on mom's couch. Harder than making $16 an hour. Harder than seeing my former career in the rearview mirror. is knowing that they were right to stop me, that what I did was wrong, even though I meant well, that good intentions don't justify compelled speech, or grading people's beliefs, or forcing public confessions, or treating dissent as proof of guilt. That's my life now. That's my lesson. Learn too late, at too high a cost, but learn nonetheless at the gym front desk. When nobody knows, I used to run accountability sessions. Where nobody knows, I used to have power. Where I'm just the woman who scans your card and tries not to think about how she got here. One mandatory session at a time.